Good afternoon and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. I thought I'd start today by giving you a little update on some of my trees. They're moving really quickly now, and I don't want to deprive you of a little of their beauty. All right, here we go. Look at this little Thuja occidentalis primo. Look at the tips. Look at the green. That is just so beautiful. So this is going to get a repot. I don't have a big pot selection, but I had this. And I think it suits it fine. It'll be a little off-center mini landscape. Beautiful color. Goes better with the winter colors than with this, in my opinion, but I'm not a color aficionado. I picked up some sedum, little teensy weensy sedum if you keep it trimmed, which I thought could add a splash of color, perhaps, to my boxwood. I want to talk about scale and perspective. That's why the little bench is there, because without it you have no idea, and that could be anything, but something that's recognizable. All right, back to the updates. My cherry trio is leafing out beautifully, but look at this, look how healthy. That's doing well. This is one of my problem children, only because she was born with very big hips. So I'm gonna have to do something about her to make her pretty. I don't know what to do but let her grow. And she's growing, so I guess a prune is in order. Okay, these were cuttings last year of my common bald cypress. I think all but one is alive in there. That's going to get added to the two trees that I have in a pot just like this. This is a cotoneaster, one I think that has the last name horizontalis or something like that, because it tends to grow like that. I think if I could control that, this might be cool. It is breaking dormancy. I brought it in here about 4 days ago into my greenhouse. This is, and tell me if you know this, please. This is what the leaf identification software says is hazel. It's a scrawny tree, but it's got some character, and I love these leaves, especially at this point in the spring. If you know what this is, great. I should have prepared this better. I have a casualty to report. These are my American hornbeam. This is the one that I took some advice from Tony, from Tony's Bonsai, and I bent it. I don't usually do this, but he gave me the courage to do it. This tree is doing great. And then in the same video, I guess I ought to start making playlists. I pruned up this one for structure, for basic branch structure. And the damn thing died. So I got a bunch outside that I pruned and left outside. They're not showing any signs of budding out, but the trees outside are not budding out. Okay, my Mugo pine, which many of you predicted its demise, still seems to be hanging on. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just hoping you guys are wrong. Central Park is, I would say, fully leafed out. This little tree over here, I'm going to try and baby it along. The white on the walkway is efflorescent, which is leaching from probably the cement dust that I used to put in as grout. Mistake. I lost a bench, so I put them over under the other tree over there. And I lost the little man at the end. I have him. And once again, Tony, you're 100% right about the scale of the people. I've got some different scale on order, and there will be a change there, which I'll let you guys see as soon as it happens. Got to talk about scale, relative scale. This is all it is for me anymore. I'm not going to be a fan of forced perspective, although for my own creations. I'm going to be a fan of letting a bird's eye view be how you view these things. And if that means a very low display and the ability to walk around it, to me, that's the best way to view them. All right, on to my juvenile bench. These are the cuttings from my larches. Every one of them is looking good. I don't know if that's stored energy or if there's roots being created down there. I got some nice moss that I didn't want to kill. Stuck it back there. There's a piece of my boxwood that has new growth on it. There's a piece of my Chinese elm that's looking healthy. And there's a piece of my Thuja occidentalis primo that is looking healthy. Next to it, well, way back in the corner, is the robot. Looking really good. It has flowers. I'm not going to cut them off, even though I probably should. I'd rather have it put energy into making roots, but I just want to see what goes on under there. And these are dawn redwood cuttings from when I pruned my dawn redwoods. In front are some cuttings from my common ball cypress. And I'm treating things in both of these trays just like Candace told me to, but I'm going to do it from birth. Okay, I had some spruce cones in a pot with some honey locust seeds. Thanks again to Candace and others for helping me identify them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have come up. If I make a little planting of honey locust, you're seeing them first. Okay, then this is various trees I started last year that are still alive. The moss experiment is greening up nicely, not as quickly as I'd hoped. But that may be due to overnight temperatures in the 40s. But it gets so sunny and hot in here on a sunny day. All right, this tray I'm dedicating to Candace from Bonsai Science, who taught us all that an ivy is a tree, and she's so right. So the first chance I got, my friend has a beautiful English ivy in her living room, and I said, well, I gotta have cuttings, and she immediately gave me cuttings. They all look good. The ones in water in the house that my wife is working on all have roots. Here's another piece of Chinese elm and some available real estate for something. I haven't decided what yet. Next to it, I have some seeds. There's an absolutely amazing Japanese Katsura tree, not a Katsura maple, but a Katsura tree. Great leaves, great looking tree all around, and I would love to have some. I have thousands of little seeds in there, but who knows? All right, then there's a beautiful wisteria tree in the neighborhood. I got 4 or 6 seeds in there, 6 seeds, I think. All right, then some hosta, both from the neighborhood and some hosta from my own house here. In this seed tray, my son lives in Berkeley, California, and I just picked up some ginkgo seeds that weren't smelly and I put them in my pocket, and I got a bunch of them on the hopefully on the germination road in there. These are random seeds. I have no idea where they came from. I just stuck them in my pocket, but I sorted them out when I got home and stuck them in there. These are sequoia trees from Berkeley that I extracted, and they're in there. And here is a really weird pine tree from my neighborhood. And I say weird, it just has very, very wispy needles. I don't know if it's a spruce or a pine, actually. It has unusual cones, but that's what this is. So that's it for my update. We're going to talk about my Alberta Spruce today, which is a little cockeyed. Is that better? I don't know. Is that worse? Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Anyway, I have a... Oh, Luca. What was that? I have a pot picked out for it. I kind of like the idea of it being shaped like a weeble, you know, with a little wobbly bottom and a pointy top. But this tree needs some pruning. I took the wire off yesterday, and things are already springing back. So either now, if I don't repot this year, I may have missed my opportunity. This has been in the greenhouse, and I haven't, excuse me, I haven't looked at the roots, which I will do today. But I want to prune it up, directionally prune it up, to try and take advantage of whatever kind of movement that I've got in the branches so far, and then figure out a way to hold them in shape. Guy wires seem like the best way, but gee, that's a lot of work. Oh, these trees, I love them. All right, so this was my front. I'm gonna just tilt like this. I want it to be straight. It's a little crooked in this pot. And the tree responded fantastically, but I've kept it in the greenhouse. I really wanted to repot. Whatever I do, I do. I got a pot chosen. I think it's the right one. I also have a square pot, a rectangular pot, also mica. That might work. I'll give that a look before I figure it out. Let's get to it. I think I'm going to look at the roots first. Look at this little box of mints that my wife found. Oh, Bob Ross Happy Little Tree Mints. How perfect. And look how happy those trees look. All right, so this is for sap protection. This stuff is so sticky. That's why I want to do this before I do my pruning. I want to see what's going on down here. This tree was in a slightly smaller container. I upsized it and I put bonsai soil on it. I didn't investigate the root base at all. This will be the first time. I'm looking for white growing tips. If that's what's in here, I may have missed my opportunity, which will be just fine. Then it'll give me the opportunity to guy wire it to this crappy pot. Very little. And nothing really white at all. Maybe up here. I don't know, that's just something. But lots of roots. Nothing white at all. So perhaps a repot now is what's in the cards. I'm looking at the time. It's late in the day. I think the prune can wait. I don't know about the repot. This is a fun reveal. Just make sure from a visibility standpoint we're good for examining roots. This is a different root rake than the one I was using before. I think I like this one better. It has rounded ends. It can pull in a more gentle fashion, and I think the tactile piece as you're doing this, knowing what you're doing because you can feel it through the instrument, I think it's more enhanced with this particular design. A big circling root there. That has me worried. But of course, I decided to do this, so this was going to be a simple prune. I think this is the right decision. Okay, a lot of high fibrous roots that appear to be coming, well, I don't know where they're coming from. I'm not seeing a promising root base yet. This was my second Alberta Spruce. I killed the first one because I did this and that all at once. That's before I knew I could find so many friends with the same addiction I had on YouTube. Let's all stick together. Yeah, I'm not seeing any growing tips at all, which is so surprising considering what's going on. So this tree was storing a lot of energy, which is also good. So my thought is to find the root base and then start looking from underneath. And resort to a little more targeted earth extraction, excavation. So when I'm reviewing these videos and editing them, the software that I'm using only allows you to, or maybe I just don't know how to do it. It only allows you to increase the speed 6 times, you know, post-production. I mean, I can obviously go into time-lapse in, you know, on my iPad. But viewing this work can be tedious from a viewer's standpoint. And I get that. But the only way I knew you had to do this was by watching. So it's a good thing on your end you have the opportunity to speed it up a bit. Too bad we can't coordinate that. But I want you to see what I'm seeing when I'm seeing it. Let me just make sure you are seeing it. Some problems. This one's a big one. What's a mother to do? Well, got to see the extent of the problem, I think. And if these roots will afford me the opportunity to go deeper, that's what I'll do. So I want to decide at this point, because root pruning will definitely indicate a few things. I don't know how to look at this, so I see it. Going with the front that I had originally wanted. And this is very nice. This rectangular mica pot, which is pretty big. And, you know, if I can believe everything I've seen you all do, I can make this fit in this pot and be very comfortable. Then there's see, the problem is guy wire. I don't want to drill holes in that pot, but I don't think I would mind drilling some holes in this one. Because it would be very useful to have holes in a round pot for guy wiring a tree such as this. But let me look at it in this pot. Would I center it in the pot? I might. Do I like the other pot better? Yes, but do I think it goes in this pot for guy wire reasons? Yes, this pot. I mentioned that I had just taken the wire off of this tree. That is true. And that was yesterday, or maybe the day before. No, it was the day before. And already I'm noticing the branches springing back. So for sure, I think I can get a permanent fixed location of my primary branches, at least my primary branches. And I think that fixed location could really be, you know, quite nice in the design. Okay, this is beautiful. It's the surface roots that are really gonna, cause me distress. But there seems to be a lot below the surface, so. I want to make sure you can still see this well. Okay, you know what I'm doing now, so I will go time lapse. This to me looks like the definition of when life gives you lemons. All right. It's got nice roots. The soil was sandy and a lot of pine bark, not composted pine bark. So my bonsai mix has a fair amount of pine bark in it and some fir bark. But what to do? The natural root plane, I would have thought would be about right here. So it seems easy. I'll take this one off. It has some baggage, but not too bad. There's one next to it also, not too bad. Then you got some stuff here that just needs cleanup. But this is enigmatic to me, this one right here. I could cut it here. It seems to have fused with the tree here. I will try to pry it away, but it's higher than my root plane. Hopefully it would heal. And I guess that's where I go with this. I will remove this surgically here. This I'm going to have to keep below the surface. Some good ballast on that side. But what an ugly bit of root. So there's some other obvious things here that don't bring with them a lot of casualty should I hack them away. So that's where I'm going to start. And let's see what happens.